Hi, hello, and welcome. So I had to go, I had to go grab my other phone because the iPhone has Time Nomad, which is my girl, girl. Wow. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'll take care of that after. Hello. Hi. Hello. And welcome. So, yeah, I had to go grab my other phone because today is a full moon in Scorpio. And the other phone was in the other room. And I just wanted to know how close we are to um, this being like an exact opposition. So, why didn't I just do that after I clicked go live? Because I'm Patrick. you know? So let's see. I don't This full moon is so interesting because as of yet, I feel like I haven't really felt it. And it's in Scorpio. So, it's supposed to be a big deal. But also, this past few weeks, maybe now, I've changed so much and I've experienced so much and I've had so much opportunity. It says it's at 5:57 p.m. So in like 2 hours. So it shouldn't be exact yet. Um, but yeah, this year has been crazy. I feel like I've changed and transformed in ways that I would never have expected. And for the past little bit, I've been riding the wave of transformation, and it's gotten even more profound. It's rooted even deeper. And now that within this past few days, um, what is it in 2 hours? Is the moon that slow? It's only it's less than a degree off. The moon is at 21 degrees 10 minutes Scorpio, supposedly, and the sun is at 22 degrees and 7 minutes. But I guess the sun is going to keep moving too. So, minute by minute. Interesting. Anyway, oh, it will be trining the North Node. Well, I'm sure y'all have heard all of the astrologers talk about the aspects. Um, but yeah, anyway, I guess, and because of the past, I feel like it's just been compounding. I feel like for a while, I went through a similar. It was almost like breaking ground at one point. I don't even know how to explain it. I feel like I don't have a proper metaphor. Well, I guess I could use the earth. So it's like for a while, uh, for like a month and a half, maybe, it was like breaking through the crust, right? And then it bored through the outer core and the mantle, which was like more fluid, but hot. Um, and in that, I feel like I was starting, I was over the breaking through the crust part. The most difficult parts of it fell over. And then we got to the inner core within this past week at some point within this past week. And again, it kept going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I was like, whoa, whoa. But I've been good for a hot minute. And anyway, I'm just curious. What's up? You know what I mean? I feel like a lot, like I already said, a lot of change and transformation. Nine of Cups and the Ace of Swords. That is so interesting. And the Ace of Swords is like glowy again. It's like you see the crown, but you don't see the sword. And maybe it was oh, aren't those the things that come off of the moon? Let's see if I can find the moon in the other half of the deck. Yeah, they are. These, the little bits of sunlight or whatever. You see it? Like under the moon? Interesting. Um, the moon is in between the Hierophant and the Three of Cups. This is a full moon in Scorpio. So technically, the Hierophant should be around the sun. I think Sagittarius. I think it was the Gemini full moon in Sagittarius season last year. Had it was like it was the opposite. Like the sun was supposed to be in Sagittarius. These are not shuffling. The sun was supposed to be in Sagittarius. The moon was supposed to be in Gemini, but in the cards it came out like reverse. Now it's shuffling. What is this Ace of Swords? Well, there's the crown. The crown of the Ace of Swords is the moon. And the moon just flipped right back over. The crown of the Ace of Swords is the moon with the Three of Swords and the Three of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. And then the sun is behind the Three of Pentacles, Six of Swords. Ace of Cups. What? So the crown is the moon. What is the sword? The sword that is so shiny, it appears invisible. I got the thing open. Spring is in full force. The allergens are allergening. My allergy pill is doing the best it can. And it gets like warm up here. So that's why that is open. So you may hear planes, trains, and automobiles. The tower is the sword. Bottom of the deck now is the Seven of Cups. I feel like this would be beneficial if you were inside of the tower. Like if you're inside, and it's at night, right? It's at night. Also, there's more of that, whatever that is, under the moon, on the tower, under the crown. Maybe it's that refracts light around the sword and the Ace of Swords that makes it so hard to see outside of the crown on top. But it's like if you're inside the tower and the top is blown off, then you would see the moon, theoretically. You would see the crown. So there's almost like a false sky. And the tower happens so that the real sky can be observed, witnessed, seen. You see the true crown rather than the crown that was placed on the tower. So yeah, I mean full moon Scorpio. I think that fits the vibes. A tower that illuminates what is real and what has been an potentially intricate ruse. I was gonna look before and after the Seven of Cups. Oh, it's right here. The Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Cups being the third decan of Scorpio, the Seven of Pentacles being the third decan of Taurus. Sun in Taurus, Moon in Scorpio. to see what is up. And I'll look before and after the sun for like Taurus season. So the Three of Swords. There is no card before the Seven of Cups, but the Three of Swords is after. The Three of Swords was at the bottom of the deck when the moon was here. So there's that tie. We're looking for the Seven of Pentacles and the Sun. Seven of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. Oops. The Three of Pentacles just flipped in reverse when I put the cards down, but I'm putting it back up right. The Seven of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, that feels similar to, was it the Three of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, and something else? The Three of Swords and the Three of Pentacles, and then it was like the Sun, but the Three of Swords, Three of Pentacles. Oh, and then the Sun is right here with the Six of Swords. So what I love about how these came out is the cards around Sun and Taurus, or the third decan of Taurus, are connected to the Sun. That's Taurus, right? So this Three of Pentacles sits in between the energy of Taurus season in general, clarified by the Sun, and the third decan of Taurus, which is where the Sun is, while where the full moon is happening. So we have the Seven of Swords and the Six of Swords. This Seven of Swords and Six of Swords is interesting because it feels like something is getting closer and closer to the Ten of Swords, but in an attempt to not hit the 10 because of a fear of whatever happens at the Ten of Swords, it's like this Seven of Swords energy is employed. So whenever someone hits 7, maybe it's a fear with the 3. It causes them to ditch 5. And then they go back to the Two of Swords. So it's this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something never reaches completion. Now, in a certain way, that can be the truth of certain situations that we never allow ourselves to witness, see, experience because of a fear of a painful realization or because of anything that would cause us to desire to be blissfully unaware or even painfully unaware, because it doesn't feel like bliss is necessarily involved. The Seven of Swords feels like a choice. Obviously, I guess I'll just do it. Let's see what's before and after. Oh my gosh. Ace of Cups, Ten of Swords, Eight of Cups. It was literally right there. Okay, cool. All of the cards are like right here, but I'm pulling from the bottom of the deck. Like I flipped the deck. Instead of it being face down, it's face up. So Scorpio full moon, it's all subconscious, right? There's only the Wheel of Fortune, the Four of Wands, the Four of Cups, and Strength that are at the bottom of the deck, but not a part of this, right? So it was the Three of Pentacles, the Sun, the Six of Swords, the Ace of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Eight of Cups. Now, what's interesting about this Four of Cups being here, in the Four of Cups, this card is so interesting to me. Maybe it's like interesting contextually because I know what the card meaning is like supposed to be, how it's typically interpreted. Sometimes I take it to be like being in a place of peace or being in a place of relative alignment to receive the Ace of Cups. Like the Ace of Cups is actively being presented and the person will at any moment open their eyes, notice it, and take the cup. But in its like traditional meaning, it's like not seeing it, as if the cup has been on offer and it hasn't been seen, recognized, accepted, whatever. The Ace of Cups lying next to this Ten of Swords that we are too afraid to reach because we keep going like 7 to the 6. Maybe we walk it all the way back 7 6 5 4 3 2 3 4 5 6 7 6 5 4 3 2. That's the thing that can't be accepted in the more traditional reading of this card, because this Ace of Cups is presented with this Ten of Swords energy. That is the third decan of Gemini, which is where Jupiter is, right? Because Jupiter should be moving into Cancer at some point. Let's see. Jupiter is at 23 degrees of Gemini. So, yes, this is the third decan of Gemini where Jupiter is. Which is interesting because Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune, ha ha ha, lol. Jupiter, also Venus in Aries with the Four of Wands. Venus is currently in Aries. With the Eight of Cups being on the other side of this Ten of Swords, it's almost like it's a heart that is so full of pain that it has no room to receive love or blessings or anything else. And so, in order for this release to happen with the full moon in Scorpio, it's like that surrender, the ending has to happen. Right. The Tower and the Ten of Swords. Now, because Taurus season comes out with the Six of Swords. Oh, oh, that makes sense. Okay, all right. I was going to say because Taurus season comes out with the Six of Swords, that's like our default, our base position. If you add the Three of Swords from the Seven of Cups, which is the moon in Scorpio during the full moon Scorpio, that would take us to the 9. And so I was like, oh, at the 9, we would only need the Ace of Swords to make it to the 10, to get the cup, to leave behind whatever we're leaving behind. The Ace of Swords was the first card that we looked at. But we looked at it back here where you could see the crown but not the sword. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. 14 cards, 10 of which are on the table. 4 are not. 14 is the number of temperance, right? Temperance is all about it's about like healing and stuff. It's about balancing and stuff. It could be like divine. It is a card of divine timing. Cool. I almost feel a little buzzy. I wonder if. No, I could look before and after the Nine of Swords. Hey, how's it going? I could look before and after the Nine of Swords, but I feel like that's doing too much. Although I did see the Nine of Swords. I don't remember what it was next to. The third, that's fine. Ace of Cups, Eight of Cups is the Nine of Cups, which is a card of getting a wish, like wish granted. Nine of Cups is what? Jupiter in Pisces? I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm going to look before and after the Nine of Cups. I think this is it. Yeah. So I feel like this tower. Oh, and it's okay. So the tower. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So I mean, it's a full moon Scorpio. So you know what I mean? It's not like a full moon Cancer or a full moon Sagittarius or something. What's a good full moon? What's a this is going to be like the best full moon ever type of full moon. Scorpio full moon is what the astrologers say is like the heaviest because you know it's associated with Pluto. It's, because again, it's like you have to stay inside the tower to see the true crown, right? And the tendency is to jump out of the tower when it's being struck, just like everyone else jumping out of the tower, right? But if you jump out of the tower, that's this like Seven of Swords energy. You walk the seven back to the two because of a strong aversion to the Ten of Swords. Without hitting that Ten of Swords, it feels like there's not enough room that can be made in the heart because it's like after the Ten of Swords, there's a period of grieving and then there's a period of letting go. And after you let go, then that's when you would have the room to see and accept this Ace of Cups that's being offered, which is between the Four of Wands and Strength. And again, the Wheel of Fortune is also here. So, um, now what's also interesting is though in this Eight of Cups, we see the sun and the moon just like we do in the moon card, but we don't get those tower Ace of Swords sparkles. See, it's just like in the sky, no little sparkles. There's the sparkles. Again, they're in the tower and the Ace of Swords. I've never noticed it before. So I guess that could be an experience where, like, um, maybe someone's like already reached the Ten of Swords, like an alternate, because like a collective energy can be an energy, but there could be different experiences with that energy depending on uh, the person, right? And then maybe there's collective experiences that are associated with like different energies. That part I'm not too sure, but I know there can be different experiences with energy based off of people and like, you know. So on the other side of this, Scorpio is death. I'm gonna look before and after death to clarify this. The Eight of Cups on the other side of the Ten of Swords. Death, both because it's linked to the Ten of Swords for visual reasons. um, Also, typically, there's like the papal hand signature hand sign thing that associates the Ten of Swords to the Hierophant, which is Taurus. Um, but death, because of the association there, and death, yeah, yeah, that's basically it. And it also happens to be Scorpio, mostly because it's Scorpio. Still pulling from the bottom. Now we're getting closer to the top of the deck. Oh, the Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. Queen of Pentacles is what, Capricorn? Cardinal Earth. She's also giving me like that dormant volcano energy. I guess because it's a dormant volcano, like you see the ash from the volcano. So maybe at one point it's erupted. The soil is incredibly nutrient dense because of the eruption. I saw this Three of Wands card earlier, and maybe because it's the 8-bit fantasy tarot and because it's so pixelated, the color blocking kind of reminds me of the world in the Two of Wands. And that kind of breaks my brain. Because, let's see, let's find it. I'll show you. I don't think I've seen it yet. Two of Wands is in between Temperance and the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, Sagittarius. Temperance is the 14 from the 14 cards earlier. So you see like the colors in the world in the hand of the Two of Wands. For some reason, it looks like the colors here look very similar to that to me. So it's this. I guess it could be an understanding of where someone is in the grand scheme of things. Or it could be someone with a general understanding of where they are in terms of their life's plan or something like that. Right? Because in the Three of Wands, they're like in it rather than just like holding it and looking out wistfully over some rampart. Um, Let me move these so I can get a little bit better vision. The planes are so close. So then this was like this. Oops. And then this sort of branched off of this. So we'll do that. And then this was for reference. 1 second. Three devices ringing. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So This is where we are. The Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is the second decan of Aries. I'm pretty sure Chiron might be there. I don't think Venus has made it there yet. Hold up. Do I not have Chiron on? Hello? I'm 99% sure Chiron is an Aries, but she is not populated on this. I turned the minor bodies off. Or yeah. No, hold up. Unless they didn't took her off the board. Hello? Wait, where's my asteroids? I don't have the what hold up. Where are the asteroids? Hello? Hello? That is wild. Maybe it's a part of the message. I probably have to it may have I mean I use this fairly often. I probably have to re whatever. But I think I'm gonna take that as a sign. Chiron isn't here. Chiron might be in that second decan. Venus is at 7 degrees of Aries, conjuncting the descendant right now. A degree away from the part of fortune. The vertex isn't at 17 degrees of Aries in the second decade. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Chiron isn't here or the influence of Chiron isn't here because this is like in the case where the tower has already fallen. We have already seen, you could even Plato it if you want with the allegory of the cave, right? Within the tower, this is looking at shadows on the wall. Well, I guess you're in the cave and then the tower happens and you get the opportunity. In the cards, it's staying in the tower to see the sky. In the metaphor, in the allegory, it's leaving the cave to see what actually exists in the world. Now, if someone's already familiar with the moon to the point where they're in the Eight of Cups and the death energy, the reason why I pulled this card again, I'm not surprised that Chiron wouldn't have as much of an influence because the influence of Chiron would be the Seven of Swords energy that keeps someone away from the Ten of Swords, which is interesting, almost in a Chiron has no power here type of way. That's like, wait, what you mean? You know what I mean? But now I'm like, well, what's next? What does that reveal? Chiron could be Nine of Swords type energy, or Nine of Wands type energy, or Three of Swords type energy. That's so interesting. Does that pick up? Can you hear the airplanes? Maybe I should. Oof, I don't know. See, my curiosity wants to pull me further, you know. But I'm like, maybe I should leave it. Scorpio is like as intense of an energy as Scorpio is. Scorpio is like very loving. You know what I mean? In a way of like, kind of like Sag. Well, maybe not in the same way. Hey, Holly, how are you doing? I was gonna say maybe like Sag, but I feel like if it kind of doesn't matter if Sagittarius loves you or not. Sag and Sag energy, Sag at their peak. Kirsty, hey, how you doing? I'm doing all right. It's like it's gonna be honest, and sometimes it's gonna be blunt, and because it's blunt, sometimes it might hurt your feelings. But like for a good cause, for a good reason. I feel like Scorpio, the wateriness of Scorpio may hinder it from like being that blunt. If Scorpio, like if you get on the wrong side of a Scorpio, then of course you get the stinger, and in that case, you just got stung. But if Scorpio medicine is trying to be helpful or beneficial but not sting, well, I guess that's when you get into the nice, like the compassion, understanding, the depth of Scorpio. It's definitely possible. Um, Not that it isn't possible, but it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't necessarily come across in that same like blunt, painful way. Was it really? Oh my gosh! I was gonna ask you about. Did I? Yeah, it was around Easter. Okay. I was going to ask you the other day, but I didn't think I did. I did. I did. Wow. 2 years already. I feel like that makes sense. But also at the same time, I'm like, what? 2 years ago was 2023. Last year was 2024. I'm like trying to get the time back. Wow. Happy belated birthday. Wait. No. Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. I like to have fun every now and then. I feel like there's something profound right here that I'm just like not communicating at the very least. Seeing it, it's like I almost kind of see it. When was the Taurus full moon? The Taurus full moon wasn't around Halloween this year. I don't think it could have been actually last year. Let's just go to Halloween. October 31, 24. Let's go to October 30th. On October 30th, moon was in Libra. So November 6th, moon was in Capricorn. So earlier October 21, 22, October 22, October 23, 4, October 24. Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Leo. When was should I just Google full? Well, let's just Google full moons 2024 because using this slider to guess is not getting me anywhere close to what I'm looking for. Full moon Scorpio. Oh, I just meant to put full moons, but it's fine. Not Scorpio, full moon Taurus. Gosh. Help me. Taurus. There we go. This has to be Vedic because ain't no way it happened on December 15th. Girl, November 15th. Okay, thank you. Thank you. November 15th was the full moon. Yep, moon in Taurus, 20 degrees. Sun in Taurus, 23 degrees. Cool. So, November 15th, 2024 was the full moon Taurus. And I go full moon Taurus because the sun is in the death card. So, it's like when the sun was in Scorpio, right? I feel like at this point, it's almost like the trail's gone cold, and I need like a canine to come and sniff it out. Ooh. Who is the dog? Who is the dog? I mean, strength is here, but strength is already here, so that's not very helpful. Unless I go looking for the King of Wands. Maybe that's it. Maybe it was that energy of someone seeing relatively where they are within the grand scheme of things or within their life plan or in a bigger picture from a zoomed out lens or perspective. I feel like I don't have the deck for this. Wow. Okay. Scorpio is associated with the underworld, but also deep water. Water so deep that there is no sunlight, but yet life still finds a way to survive and maybe thrive. You know, if you're a Scorpio and you're thriving, thank you. But it's almost like in the intuitiveness of Scorpio, in the depth of Scorpio, in the light of the dark of Scorpio, the positive darkness of Scorpio, it's almost like it's really close to the void. It's like there's the void of Scorpio. I just saw Thunderbolts yesterday. Anyway, there's the void of Scorpio that's like a depth of like despair or something like that. But then there's also a depth, a void of the void of Scorpio that is like the depths of despair and stuff like that. But there's also the void of Scorpio that is like the cosmic void, the darkness through which everything is born, right? And so I used to put it with the Hermit, especially the Hermit in the Mystic Mondays Tarot. More so with the Hermit in Judgment and the Mystic Mondays Tarot than with like Virgo. Oh, wow. Okay. This is interesting. Um, but it's a point where we go so far inside that we reemerge outside, or we go so far inside that at that boundary barrier we get this sort of type of energy. And you could say this is kind of being in the world, but not of it, because the person both holds the world but stands inside of it, right? So then this becomes something very different. I don't think I've seen this card either, but I could be wrong. Oh, I have it. Nice. All of the cards that I need. There's only two cards left. So I think we've reached the end. This is interesting. Um, there's an interesting synchronicity between that and so I've been walking lately. At first, there's so many things. There's a few things that just like happened within this year. This year has been like honestly, it's fine. That just kind of like stuck. Things that have happened that just kind of stuck. That I'm like, might as well. I'm not necessarily attached to it, but as far as it being a part of my routine right now, sure, why not? And so I was on a walk in this area that I almost went to before, but I didn't. But one day I did. And there was this watery area that had a lot of aquatic birds, like ducks of multiple kinds, gulls of multiple kinds, I think geese. And then a few days later, I went back and like all the water was gone. I was like very perplexed and confused. And I saw this duck that was like, first I saw, because it's like the ground, whatever the ground is, it's the ground. But then I noticed there was this stream of water. And then I noticed a duck that was literally crawling in the stream of water. At first, I was like, oh, the duck is swimming. But then when it got closer, I could see it like crawling. I could see its legs moving. And then as soon as I stopped recording, or like a few seconds after I stopped recording, it stood up in the water. But when I saw the stream, it reminded me of um, the wellspring. The wellspring is also associated, so yeah, it's the same. The wellspring for me is the place. I was thinking about the chakras and going like from the crown to the root, or you can go from the root to the crown. It doesn't really matter. One time years ago, and maybe I was like visually sort of like going through it. And when I made it to the root in the visualization, there was like a stream, like a silted up stream that went into like a cave or something, right? And in that cave was the wellspring. The wellspring is the pinch off point between the self and the divine. It's that place where we go so far inside that we reconnect with the all. You go so far inside, you like reemerge outside. However, whatever. But I saw that and it made me think of the wellspring. So it's interesting that this energy is kind of sort of here now. And then there were like footprints. Like, yeah, there were like, so in this stream, first I saw like bird footprints in the mud, in the ground, whatever, where the water was. And then I kind of followed them, and it was like in the same stream, I guess a bird had left the stream, walked around, and then went into the water at a different point. I don't know. I don't know what the ducks were out there doing. Um, but Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's this one. So that was like that stream, and then there's a duck just like crawling through that stream, and then like let's see, let's see if you can see it. Like I kind of zoomed in a little bit. You can like see its legs, like it's crawling through the water. Thank you. Me too. Yeah, me too. So anyway, that reminded me of the wellspring, and now here we are again at this wellspring type energy. So it's like, I guess the wellspring lies within scorpionic energy, which makes sense because you also have like the underwater vents, um, whatever. Oh yeah, okay. I was like, and look, we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups that is the eight plus the ace. Wow, interesting. Okay, so just like the duck that went on land, that just like the duck that left one part of the stream, walked around on land, and then re-entered the same stream at a different point. I feel like we've done the same because now we're back to this Nine of Cups energy that I said I was going to look at for. I ended up looking before and after the Magician, and it's in between the King of Cups, which is pre-Leo energy. Leo was the dog that I was gonna try to sniff the trail. King of Cups and then the Nine of Cups, which again is the eight plus the ace. Both of those led us back to this magician energy. Um, and I think the last time I was live, towards the end, there was an energy. I don't remember it fully. I don't remember which cards it was, but it was when the Ace of Cups came out earlier in the video. I think it was the Ace of Cups. It made me think of the like heavenly fire being water on earth. There was some card that came out at the end that gave me that same energy. I feel like I didn't, excuse me, really expand on it. Um, oh, that's interesting. So both of these roads, both of these paths led us back to the magician, which I guess you could say is the, yeah, whatever this is and wherever this is, the hanged man uh, is here. And the hanged man and the five of wands are the last two cards. Five of wands is the third decan of Leo, which should be empty because I know Mars isn't there yet. Unless Mars is. No, no, there's no way. There's no way. Mars is at 3 degrees Leo. The third decan of Leo is empty as well. But Mars is in the first decan, sorry, of Leo, which is the two of wands, which is Mars in Leo. That's Aries. Hold up, hold up, hold up. This is Aries. The five of wands is the first decan of Leo, and that is where Mars is. Sorry. So now Mars in Leo is with this Pisces energy. Mars is fresh in Leo, so it just left a trine with Saturn and the North Node and Neptune, I guess, before it moved into Neptune moved into Aries a minute ago. With all that Pisces stuff when Mars had retrograded into Cancer. Um, this is Jupiter and Pisces, Nine of Cups, fixed fire is Leo with the King of Wands. The King of Wands and the Nine of Cups. The King of Wands and the Magician, even. It's an interesting combination of cards. I would say with the King of Wands clarifying the Magician, that's almost an energy of something being so because someone willed it. It's like through sheer power of will or desire or determination, the King of Wands has manifested something. With the Nine of Cups, it implies an alignment to one's inner truth or to one's heart, one's truest desires. This isn't, all right, Christy, grab me a cup too. I'm just playing. With the Nine of Cups, sort of also clarifying this magician, this isn't like a warped or twisted desire. This isn't like, it's an ego based desire in the sense of it is like purely related to who and what the King of Wands is. But it's not an ego based desire in terms of something that the human desires to make up for something else, if that makes sense. I guess you could say like I don't want to say elevated ego, a true ego. A true ego being something that is truly of the self, and like a false ego being something that someone thinks they have to do, say, or be in order to be perceived in a certain way or to be who they want to be. And there's an implied disconnect between who someone wants to be and who they actually are. It feels like under this false crown or under the false sky, it's probably impossible. It's probably very, very, very difficult to be in the true ego energy because the true ego exists outside of pain. It exists outside of disappointment. It exists outside of heartache and heartbreak. It exists outside of the limitations of what one believes to be possible. It just is, right? It's like ego in that way. I guess you could say the most authentic, one of the more authentic tenets of someone's core or self. Wow. Okay. Now the Hangman and the Five of Wands make sense. I don't like. I know it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And yeah, I guess the Scorpio full moon would sort of bring it about, and it's in the proximity of the void. But it's the void is extremely like it's an extremely difficult place to navigate without a strong inner um, strong sense of self with a healthy dose of true ego. The void is very, very, very difficult to navigate because again, you could get lost in darkness, disappointment, heartache, heartbreak, things that didn't go right, dreams that didn't come true, whatever, anything. Wow. I'm gonna read the I Ching. This brings, I don't know what I Ching number it is. I want to say it's 36, but I'm like 99% sure it is not I Ching number 36, but it's the one that is dark in the light. But it brings, I know it's the 12th cycle. Ul Al senses where it's the rebalancing of the yin and yang. Any light will upset the void. So, to enter the void, you have to hold your light inside of yourself. Let's see what I Ching number 36 is. You have to hold the light inside of yourself so that you can navigate the void but not be lost in it. You can do metaphorically, you can do, I mean, in reality, you can do whatever you want to do. So metaphorically, you can abandon your light to enter that void, and just be swimming in darkness. Oh my gosh, it is! Wow, I Ching number 36, darkening of the light. Wow, I've probably gotten this I Ching enough to like to know that. Wow. Okay, I Ching number 36, darkening of the light. Let me make this a little bigger. The sun has descended down into the belly of the earth. It is a time of transitions. One will come to an end while another is ascending. Use the darkness to your advantage. Wait until the darkness has set in completely before you start the uprising. Use darkness to veil your light. Begin the resistance of light under the veil of darkness. Do not compel the change. Let the time of transition take place in due course. Do not draw attention to your light, but do not let that inner light extinguish. A push for change is in the air, but the time for change has not yet come. So that is in the Book of Shadow, Book of Maps. In the Book of Maps of the Spirit Keeper's Tarot, I Ching 36. I want to get another interpretation of it. Brightness hiding. Where is that one? Did I bookmark it? You hear the sirens now? Told you, planes, trains, and automobiles. Other bookmarks? Yes, I did bookmark it. Thanks, past me. The Illustrated Book of Changes. Here we go. So I need to find 36. Ming Yi. Oh, where are the numbers? So, do I have. No, it's fine. I'm also going to read the I Ching for the Five of Wands and the Hangman. This is so interesting. This is so interesting. I think these are page numbers. You know what? Let's make this easy. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, all right. I was gonna say let's make this easier on myself. I mean, 36 is a little bit more than half of 60. There's 64 trigrams. Hexagrams, girl. Please, come on, Bernie. Number 35. Okay, and number 36. Ming E, diagram 36. Okay, so uh I'll share my screen. Why not? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I don't know. Uh, 1 second. I got to do a window capture so you can see. Oh, wait. I'm going to put this in a new tab. I'm going to put it in its own window. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. This is like the imagery on this is so like Three of Wands, kind of full, Three of Wands full coded. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh. Um, yeah, 1 second. I think I hear the ice cream truck now. Woo, perfect. You don't have to show cursor. All right. Well, I guess you can't see me, but that's fine. So this is where we are. I obviously don't own the rights. This is the Yan Li, the Illustrated Book of Changes. I found it on the internet. But see this image on the left? Ming E diagram 36. Brightness goes down to, oh, that's also in the death card with the setting sun, or the sun that's like at the bottom of the card rather than up in the sky. Brightness goes down to earth, indicating that it is suitable to predict the future when you are in hardship. But see, doesn't this kind of look like the Three of Wands on the left? Hold up, wait, let me see. We'll do this. I'm doing so much. I'm doing too much right now. The one that was like sort of like overlooking the horizon, and then the setting sun, the sun that is like going below the horizon. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just like curious, so I'm gonna read them. We're gonna read all the changing lines as well. Okay, I need my glasses. I don't even know if my glasses would help. A lone duck. Oh my gosh, a duck. I was just talking about the duck crawling through the river. I told you. I showed you. A lone duck flies among the sun rays. It flies with its left wing down. The gentleman is out on a trip and has not eaten anything for 3 days, but he must go on because his host has something to tell him. The setting sun's rays cast the shadow of the horse to the left. The horse looked more powerful. How auspicious. The shadow of the horse looking more powerful than the horse itself, I guess. Third line, the setting sun cast a shadow over the hunting ground to the south where big game was caught. It was difficult to predict what was going to happen immediately. I don't know why. I couldn't decide which line would change, if any would change, so that's why I'm reading all of them. The rays of the setting sun moved up to the left abdomen. The rays moved to my heart when I stood at the gate of my house. Interesting. Line 5, Jizzy, Jizzy. I don't know who that is. I probably butchered that. Escaped after the Ying dynasty was overthrown. As he went underground, it was the right time to predict the future. And then the sixth line, top line, sorry, not bright, then dark, because after the sun rises, it moves up to the heaven and falls below the horizon sometime later. Is that the only one where there are no people? Yeah, that's the only line where there are no people. Not bright, then dark, because after the sun rises, it moves up to the heaven and falls below the horizon sometime later. Cool. I don't know exactly what that gave me besides some like cool visual tiebacks or throw-ins. Maybe not because again, it's not like I was like, oh, this is like the third line changing or whatever. But that I Ching came to mind because within the void, there is only darkness, right? And so, if you want to enter the void, to take light into the void would disrupt the space, would cause you to be ejected. And that's probably, again, it's another reason why this Ten of Swords is avoided. Because to go into the dark and to not need a light, oh my gosh. There's like heavy, heavy gray clouds on the right, but then on the left, it's like clear skies. Anyway, um, welcome back. Um, yeah, this is so interesting. I can get that later. And yeah, because it's staying in the void, staying in the tower to see the true crown that is the moon and not whatever this structure was on top of the tower. There's a some kind of truth that's revealed here. Cool. All right. Oh, and then I said I was gonna find this. I'll read this I Ching and then I think we'll be done. 'Cause take it how it resonates, when it resonates, if it resonates, as it resonates for you. Um, Here we go. Here we go. So this is this thunder over water? This is fire over water. I Ching number fire over water is I Ching number 64 climax. Whoa. Which makes sense. For like the energy that Hangman Five of Wands is giving with this King of Wands, Magician, Nine of Cups, it makes sense that this would be a climax. And again, it's no surprise that this is near the wellspring. Cool. I didn't necessarily be, because I didn't like go live and be like, oh my gosh, I saw this stream with a duck in it. So like, let's see what's going on with the wellspring because it gave me wellspring energy. Honestly, the only thing that kind of perplexes me still is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles could be like an energy of abundance, but it feels like there's more to her than that. Well, okay, I see her. I see her. She's been clocked. 64, reaching toward an end, the climax. What is to be has not yet come to pass, but as you ford the river, you see the banks on the other side. You are about to peak in the situation at hand, but know that after every peak, there comes a time of stagnation and then an inevitable decline. No one is above regulation. There is an order that every one of us must follow, a higher authority that each one of us must submit to. When you forget that, then that is the start of the decline. Remember, reaching the top is only the halfway point. Cool. All right. Oof. What was all this? I don't know. All with this Ace of Swords. I think I'll take a picture of this because I feel like every now and then something will happen. One second, and I'll be like, "Oh, I wish I had a picture." so I could remember all the cards that came out or whatever. Ugh. Maybe I could show you the picture. There were, I was gonna say there were days. There have been literally a handful of times where I made the picture the thumbnail of the video, the picture of the cards. Cool. Um, yeah. Where am I? Am I here? Am I here? Yes. I had the thing brought up. Sure, we'll do it for fun. Why not? I was gonna say I didn't even use it. Let's give it a roll. We have air, earth, the three of essences, the high priestess, and judgment. In Cancer, Cancer, three of essences, the high priestess, judgment. The three of essences is not on the table. Yes. What's the rest of this? Hold up, wait one second. I have so many like windows and tabs open now. I'm not gonna look before and after the three of the three of essences is interesting. Within this, whoa, hold up. I feel like the energy of the three of essences, how I'm feeling it this time, has come out recently. This three of essences, it feels like there are now there's like a breeze coming in. The wind is finally blowing this way. Um, it's almost like, especially with the high priestess and judgment, Cancer is the moon. Cancer came out before, and it was the energy of the moon, but like the sun and the anti sun. The light of the moon reflects the sun, the dark of the moon reflects some kind of anti sun. And when it's between the new moon and the full moon, it is like simultaneously reflecting both. And I thought about that, like that energy of the other sun or the other side of the moon. This is like, take it if it resonates, when it resonates, as it resonates, however it resonates. So, on a smaller scale, right? Let's say that you have a passion and you have a business. There are like two different sides of you, or there are two different things that you enjoy. And those two things come together to give birth to like a new version of you. You somehow find a way to marry multiple sides of who you are or things that you do to create something new. Something that is more than just like, I'm a baker and I do art, so I'm going to have baking art parties. Not that there's anything wrong with like a baking art party, but like a that's like, we're going to do art and we're going to bake. It is like a new idea. It can lead to many things, but it's like there are two things that when they come together, it becomes something more than just two things put together. You know what I mean? And so you have the high priestess in judgment. This energy is like, it's turning my stomach a little bit. Or maybe I'm just hungry. Um, and it's this air and earth. It's kind of like, and I feel like this air and earth energy has come out recently too, relatively recently, where it's like, it could be like, let's say that there's a skill that you have, there's something that you know you can do, and there is a problem that needs to be solved, or a community that needs you in some way, shape, form, and capacity. You realize that you can be beneficial in providing a solution or serving that community by utilizing a skill. But in applying your skill to this specific circumstance, it becomes something way more than what it was originally. Like, that's this air and earth sort of combination. It's like to make an assessment of something on earth and to apply a higher aspect or element, a different element, but like a higher aspect to it, or vice versa. To see something in the air, but be able to ground it in a way that makes it tactile, or that it can be like interacted with, and not just some imaginary, I want to say like liminal concept. Either way, there's something more that comes of it. The high priestess in judgment. The high priestess in judgment is just like this. It's a level of self. It's almost like a self alchemy, you know? Like, we can alchemize things external to us with temperance or the magician or whatever other energy, I guess. There are things that we know we can do to try to change a situation or an outcome or something. But although changing an outcome and situation is a part of this, the significance of impact is done on the self. Like, someone becomes more themselves because of whatever this is. And there is, and I want to say like an implied novelty to it. Um, I don't know. Again, this energy has kind of sort of been like floating lately. And I'm like, it's so interesting and intriguing, I guess, that that sits on the three of essences. Because three is like a relatively low number, you know? When the top is like what, 14? If you include the king as 14. Ooh, who was that? Strength. Strength, the emperor, the ace of wands. Maybe part of that is the point. Hold up, wait. I'm doing this the wrong way. All right, we're gonna get final card. I feel like I feel like it was years ago. Pluto, there was like some stillness at a lake, and Pluto was this pond of incredible depth. It's like the visual is coming back to my mind, but I can't remember what the visual was connected to. Wow. Wow. Cool. How interesting. All right. Let's get a final card. Let's get a good shuffle. Ooh. Oh, that was like mostly good. Let's get a from start to finish. There we go. That was a good one. That was a better one. All right. Let's take this off. Take this off the screen. How interesting. Okay. Final card for this full moon. I've been live long enough. It's almost exact. Oh. Okay. Final card is the Queen of Pentacles. The final card is the one I was like, I feel like there's more to her. I'm not necessarily seeing it. Bottom of the deck is the lover or the lovers, but there's like, in this deck, there's no S. This Queen of Pentacles energy is giving me the intersection of Earth and Air. And she was like kind of sort of giving that to me. You could say like she is someone who embodies their higher self, right? It's almost like if you would see the earthly self and the spiritual self as these two individuals, she is the marriage of those two as one, which makes her like super fertile and abundant, which makes the area around her so dense nutritionally, both physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's why so much grows around her. And yeah, they were connected to the same because that was the Three of Wands, Two of Wands. But it was the emphasis on who she is on Earth. It's an emphasis on how she shows up in real life. I think sometimes when there is this like embodiment, when we talk of embodiment or whatever, of like being like an earth angel or having a powerful spirit, it's like we kind of prioritize maybe or focus more on or pay more attention to possibly like the energetic, spiritual, ethereal sort of parts, pieces, and aspects of it rather than like the human being that we are. And this is like an emphasis on the human being that she is. We'll get one to clarify it. Yeah. It was nice to see everyone today. Oh, okay. Wow. A card flipped out. It's justice. Oh, I love that. The scales are balanced. Again, it's like with the lover, she's equal parts. Uh, so, like, right, there's the like, we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. But this is an acknowledgement that we are both a physical and a spiritual being a having an experience that is both physical and spiritual in nature. There's no sort of like hierarchy here, or there's no this, whatever this is here. The scales are balanced, and we see the sword plainly. And the crown is on the head of justice. The crown is also on the head of the Queen of Pentacles. The North Node is in Pisces. Why is that important? I don't know why it was Pisces. Oh, because the moon. Duh. LOL. Because the moon was the crown that we saw, and the tower was the sword that was unseen. But the moon was the true crown. So I was like, well, the moon is Pisces. What's in Pisces? North Node, Saturn for a little bit. Maybe something else. Justice also implies some kind of authority, which is very interesting. Again, take it as it resonates, apply it how it fits. The Three of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck now. The Eight of Cups is there with the Magician and the Empress. Uh, yeah, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find. And this is apparently, potentially, what's going on with that full moon Scorpio energy. Seems interesting. The depth of it seems interesting. And yeah, um, sometimes to get to the truth of who we are or the truth of what something is, we have to be willing to see it. Right? So, thank y'all for stopping by, and I will catch you all at some point, maybe out there, I'm sure, right? Potentially.